Hello, Evelyn Doyle, writing as a loca, and my book, Falling Through Time, A Sacred Prostitute Returns to Egypt, has been a wonderful, in fact, an epic adventure in me finding myself whole and coming into maturity as an older woman with a very balanced sense of myself. So to write the book and address matters of mental health, since I had a very sensitive psychic receptivity and was able to bring in all sorts of different voices and energies, which of course in Western culture isn't considered sanity. However, I found a way by following my heart and going to the Middle East just after I was 40 years old to investigate a pull that I'd had since I was a child. When I was very, very young, I used to see Anubis, who is the keeper of the netherworlds, the gateway into death, an Egyptian god as such, and he would be in my bedroom all the time, and of course my parents didn't want to hear about it, but there was some advantage to me at that time because he represented an opportunity for me to escape into the starscapes, which I needed to do. I was very uncertain about who my parents were and found out later that actually my mum wasn't my birth mum. And there's a number of things that writing this book as a package, I'd call it a soul package, because it completed parts that had been in my psyche for a long time. I brought them into being and understanding by the writing. So based on my journey of going to Jordan, Israel and Egypt on my own just after my 40th birthday, and I just had a backpack and a very strong spirit, believing I was returning to a sacred culture. I really believed that I would return to Egypt in particular and be seen as a sacred woman. However, that of course was not at all, that was the illusion. But while I was there, I met some amazing people who recognised me from past lives, had a, what you might call a magical journey, synchronistic. I hitchhiked, but always there was someone there. Of course, staying with traditional people in countries where the Muslim culture is quite strong. I was well seen as an infidel, but also if I was travelling with a man, he was considered that he was my husband. So there was a bit of a pretend journey in that, but I certainly needed that feeling of protection at times, although I felt totally protected through the whole experience. I was able to stay with the Bedouin for a week in Wadi Rum. I don't know what's happening over in that part of the world at the moment, but I do believe the nomadic tribes were being herded up into being more stable. However, being with the Bedouin and the wonderful hospitality I felt going out herding goats with the girls, with the young women, was really, really a startling way to be accepted as a lone woman wandering on my own in predominantly Muslim country and staying with a Muslim family. So writing the book, when I came back, I contracted dysentery when I was over there, finally made it to Egypt after having many past life visions come up and waking up in the middle of the night thinking I had died and I was in eternal death, purgatory, which was a startling confrontation to me. So I experienced a lot of fear, even though nothing in the actual physical was to be scared about, as long as I behaved myself, which I did. I kept myself fully covered, wore a headscarf, and honoured the culture because I understand that's how they appreciate women and the sacredness of women in many ways. So writing the book was a way for me to be relieved of trauma and revealed many things about myself. I suffered with alcoholism, mental illness, I expect, a lot of depression, and writing this book was a very wonderful opportunity over the years that it took me to write, because obviously there was still more to experience, being such a strong soul journey, having a memory of being a sacred prostitute over 3,500 years ago in Egypt particularly. was something that had permeated all my thinking without me realising, a very unconscious way of being in the world, and had made me quite unstable as far as being able to protect myself with sexual encounters, etc. So it has been a very maturing process. I love talking about it. It's been an opportunity to know myself more and to find ways to trust myself as a woman in the world. And now that I'm a senior, obviously, I'm an elder. I claim my eldership. I claim my rights of passage as an elder. This is the book. And now I write a great deal. I've been a journaler all of my life, so very good at keeping track with day-to-day experiences, and it seems I may have Aboriginal heritage. So that's the next book I'm writing, since a lot of my artwork, I've been invited to go to sites, sacred sites around Australia and do the work there, and it's been a healing aspect. So as much as I think of myself as an artist, I actually think I'm becoming an earth healer, or have been. It's just an acknowledgement of that. So other books on the way, certainly about Aboriginal sites and that magical dreaming, which is becoming so very strongly for me. And also because I've been to India and have followed an Indian guru for several years, I'm writing a book about a young woman, a young adult book about a young woman who goes to India and starts her menses over there and is treated with so much honour because of the feminine culture. So I have quite strong feminine attributes in my work, and have really started as a poet. Was a performance poet for many years, loved it, and a very different way of writing. So learning to write in a voice where I gave people a journey rather than just an emotional experience has been a big one, but have loved writing. And every so often I read my book just to check out some of the passages, and I'm still very delighted by the writing because I'm a wordsmith, love words, love the quality of words and the background of words, and so really have an ambition to write a Booker Prize winner, or something really of literary value in the next few years, I expect. So Evelyn Doyle, writing as a loca. My book, Falling Through Time, Sacred Prostitute Returns to Egypt. And I think that's it for now. Thank you.